Why did Rupert Grint feel suffocated while portraying Ron? Who suffered severe physical injuries on the set? And why is Dan Radcliffe embarrassed by his acting in the series? Hi, I'm Dylan. Let's find out. From the never-ending stories to a mortifying haircut. For Rupert Grint, growing up on the set wasn't easy. He recently revealed that sometimes it seemed to him that filming would never end. There was a time where it felt quite suffocating, the actor admitted. And although it was a great experience for him, Rupert kept on asking himself if being on the set was something he really wanted. So he was glad when it was over, and to this day he can only watch the first film. It still feels too soon, really. I can't detach myself fully. I can't face it, Grint said. Hopefully he'll get over it soon and we'll finally revisit the series, just like Tom Felton recently did. Anyway, one more challenge Rupert faced wasn't so tragic. Remember the hairstyle he had in this film? Rupert, for one, hates it and now regrets that he ever had it. My hair in film 4 is one of my biggest regrets. Shoulder length, the actor said. We went through our puberty on camera. You kind of see it all. It's very cringy. But I've got to say that it probably bothers him more than anyone else. I mean, the fourth film turned out great, except for this Dumbledore asked calmly moment. Book fans will get what I mean. And fans didn't overthink the actor's hairstyles, so Rupert's a bit too hard on himself. That's probably because growing up on the screen was challenging for most of the actors. And even Dan Radcliffe himself had his embarrassing moments, but we'll get back to that later. The Battle of Hogwarts was way too realistic. In the final battle of the series, Voldemort almost won, thinking that he had killed Harry, but he was wrong. Dead wrong. Just like the team of people who created the set for the battle and accidentally burned down a mocked-up Hogwarts castle. One of the pyrotechnic special effects went awry, and a fire broke out on the set. Luckily, the cast wasn't there at the time, but 100 crew members, along with firefighters, spent 40 minutes putting it out, and the damage was estimated at a whopping 100,000 pounds. Gee, that's quite a sum of money. But a Warner Brothers spokesperson later explained that, although it sounds huge, it wasn't that big of a deal. After all, the set was gonna be rebuilt anyway. But the most important thing, of course, is that no one was injured during this accident. The same can't be said for another tragic occasion on the set. A stuntman's job is scary. Dan Radcliffe had the same stunt double for 6 films, a former gymnast, David Holmes. But while filming the second Deathly Hallows movie, this guy got seriously injured. An awful accident occurred during a flying scene that required Holmes to be yanked backward during a controlled explosion. Something went wrong, and the stuntman fell to the ground, injuring his spine. The trauma was so severe that it left him completely paralyzed. As of now, David is still using a wheelchair. You might think that his life was over after this tragic accident, but no. Holmes showed everyone that he's a true Gryffindor. Brave and resilient, he kept on living. He's now running a production company with 2 of his friends, and he's also driving specially modified race cars at 150 miles per hour. Can you believe it? And he's still good friends with Dan and Tom Felton. Recently, for example, Holmes and Radcliffe discussed how important it is to honor stuntmen and how much these people deserve to have an Oscar category. If you can't see the art of a brilliant stunt scene, you're just not looking hard enough, Dan commented. Well, isn't he right? Matthew Lewis and his ruptured eardrum. David's injury wasn't the only one that happened on the set of Harry Potter, but thankfully the one Matthew Lewis endured wasn't nearly as serious. While filming the scene where Bellatrix Lestrange captured Neville in the Order of the Phoenix, Helena Bonham really got into her character and even tortured the young man a bit. "I think I took my sadism a bit too literally," she said to Entertainment Weekly. No, she didn't cast the Cruciatus spell on him, but she did hurt him. "I thought I could brandish the wand like a sort of Q-tip and clean out his ear," the actress explained. Her trick didn't work out though, and she ended up perforating Matthew's eardrum. Yikes! And what's more, Matthew didn't even say anything. He just kept on acting, and Helena only later learned that she had injured him. He actually had some internal bleeding about 3 days later, she said. Poor Matthew. But Helena wasn't the only one who overperformed a bit. Tom Felton and a realistic slap. You certainly remember that scene from The Prisoner of Azkaban where Hermione punches Malfoy in the face. That was one of the most memorable moments in the entire franchise. And you know why it looked so perfectly realistic? That's because it was a real punch. In an interview with the Huffington Post, Tom Felton once recalled how hardcore that day of filming was. "It was originally a slap, I think, so I said, let's test it out now. Give me a slap and try to work on it, meaning give me a screen slap. A fake slap, the actor explained. Little did he know that he was about to get an actual punch in the face. Tom also admitted that afterwards, he found himself with impaired hearing and, according to his own words, with his tail tucked between his legs. Yep, that's what it feels like to be punched by a real Gryffindor. And one more thing about Hermione and the actress who played her: how Emma Watson lost her loved one on the set. This happened long before she got to punch Malfoy in the face. While filming the first Harry Potter film, the young actress learned what it felt like to lose someone she loved. Her beloved pet hamster Millie passed away, and Emma was pretty sad about it. After all, she was still a little girl, and it wasn't easy for her to come to terms with the loss, however small it might seem to others. So the film crew decided to help her grieve. They arranged an entire funeral for Millie, making her a small mahogany casket with velvet lining, as well as a silver plaque with the hamster's name on it. It certainly meant a lot to Emma because years ago, while accepting a BAFTA award for British Artist of the Year, she recalled that tragic moment from the early days of her career. Watson closed her acceptance speech with the words,
"Rest in peace, Millie. This one's for you."
Well, isn't she sweet? But it looks like one of her co-stars didn't get such nice treatment on the set. Haters gonna hate. Fans don't always like the casting of their favorite book characters. It often happens because they imagine someone else in their place, but they eventually have to make peace with the casting crew's choice. And yet, sometimes they hate it so much that they take the matter online. This is what happened with Katie Leung, the actress who played Cho Chang. Playing the girl Harry Potter himself had a crush on was a dream come true for her, until she decided to Google her name one day. What she saw was multiple forums with tons of racist remarks aimed at her. Being still very young, Katie had no idea how to deal with them, so she asked the series publicists what she should do. I remember them saying to me, "Oh look, Katie, we haven't seen these websites that people are talking about, and if you get asked, then just say it's not true. Say it's not happening." And I just nodded my head, the actress recalled. It's really sad that they failed to support her. And if you ask me, I have no idea what problem those haters had with her. Katie was perfect as Cho, don't you think so? Share in the comments below, and let's move on. How Alan Rickman protected Snape. You might know that right at the beginning of filming the Harry Potter series, J.K. Rowling shared Snape's secret with Alan Rickman so that he could better understand his character. As she later said, she revealed to him what lay behind the word always. Rickman kept the secret for the entire duration of the series, until everyone found out what a true hero Snape really was. And for this reason, he understood his character better than anyone involved in the series, and he knew exactly what Snape would or wouldn't do in any situation. There were cases where he had to fight for the potions professor because the directors had a different image of Snape in their minds. David Heyman, the series producer, once recalled that there were many instances where Rickman would say something like, "No, I can't do that. I know what's going to happen and you don't." The actor came out victorious from all of those arguments and managed to stay true to his character. And there was something else he'd do on the set. Stealing is bad. While filming the very first movie, Rickman managed to get away with robbing the set. He stole all of the Gringotts coins. The actor never commented on why he decided to do it, but we do know that after that occasion, security was constantly on alert to prevent anything else from getting stolen. And surprisingly, it created a problem for the Lucius Malfoy character, Jason Isaacs. The thing is, he wanted to get some memorabilia for himself too. "I once tried to take a copy of the Daily Prophet because there were thousands of them," the actor recalled. Since he's no Malfoy Sr. in real life, he asked the director's permission to take a copy. David Yates, who was the director at the time, allowed him to take one, but as soon as the actor got to the gates, security said he wanted the magazine back. It was quite an uncomfortable situation for Isaacs, and he never got a copy of the Daily Prophet for himself. Dang, if you think that since we've talked about everyone else, Dan Radcliffe didn't have his share of struggles on the set, you're wrong. Was his acting embarrassing? You probably know that Dan struggled with alcohol addiction while filming the series, and often showed up on the set still inebriated. But it wasn't the only challenge he encountered while playing the boy who lived. For example, during the fourth movie, he had to go underwater to film the second Triwizard Tournament task. Since he had to act underwater for quite a while, it created a certain risk for the actor. So it was vital for him to learn the essential hand signals for scuba diving to let the crew know how he was doing. And once during filming, Dan sent the most disturbing signal. deal. He was out of air and was drowning. As soon as people rushed to help, it turned out that he just messed the signs up and was trying to say that he was okay. That certainly was awkward. But in fact, most of the series now looks embarrassing to the actor. I'm intensely embarrassed by some of my acting, obviously, but yeah, it's like asking, how do you feel about your teenage years? Radcliffe once shared. So, just like his co-star Rupert Grint, who regrets his long hair in the fourth film, Dan thinks he could have done much better. And what do you think of his acting? Was it awkward, or did you always like him as Harry? Share in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, watch another one we made about what the Harry Potter actors are doing these days, and stay awesome!